Noah's flood. What was the meaning of this event? Why did God choose Noah and his family, 8 people that were entering the ark, the animals that were saved, and why flood the earth? Was this a geological transformation, an astronomical event? What does the Holy Bible say concerning this? Well, we have to read that first. Genesis 7. And the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also several pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made." And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the floodwaters came on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds and of all creatures that moved along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark as God had commanded Noah, and after the 7 days of floodwaters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 7th day of the 2nd month, on the day all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, on that very day Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They all had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kind, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. So he didn't gather them, they came to him. Obviously, it was a divine intervention. God motivated them to go to Noah's ark from wherever they were. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So the animals themselves came into the ark. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female, every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on land perished, birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out, people and animals and the creatures that moved along the ground, and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of heaven had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the water had gone down, and on the 7th day of the 7th month, the ark came to the rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened the window he made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove could find nowhere to perch because the water was over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there was in its beak a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time the dove did not return to him. By the first day of the 1st month, Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it." So Noah came out, together with his sons, his wife, his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that moved along the ground, and all the birds, everything that moves on land, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." And Genesis 9, God's covenant with Noah. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth and all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each human being too I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed, for in the image of God, as God made mankind. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it." Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, "I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is a sign of the covenant I am making between you and me and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth." So God said to Noah, "This is a sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on earth." The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the 3 sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the whole earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of the wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backwards and covered his father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he cried, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will be he to his brothers." He also said, "Praised be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. Now, a lot of us say, why is it that, okay, since Ham did this terrible act against his father, why is it that his father did not curse Ham, but cursed the son Canaan? Now, the chapter 6 of the Genesis, the wickedness in the world, having to do with the Nephilim in those days, that were on earth in those days, and afterwards when the sons of God went into the daughters of men, had children by them, they were the heroes of all men of renown. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. And the Lord said, "I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them." But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is, then we go to, this is again, Genesis 6, verse 9, Noah and the flood. The account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, "I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. Put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens, every creature that has the breath of life in it. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, of every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you and be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them. And Noah did everything just as God commanded. So the event that we read from the Bible. As we know, there was no fish, nothing from the waters. Again, there's another midrash. No, the fish didn't die, because God said if you didn't mind reading properly, he would destroy all he had created on the face of the earth. The fish in the sea were exempt. No mention of amphibians, the nasty ambiguities that Leviticus hates so much. And both one thing and another, making combination into a single unclean. Clothes had made of 2 kinds of fabric, animals that breed with other species, but the amphibians would surely have decided to take the watery route to survival. Now, the absence of fish in Noah's story set the medieval rabbis stoking their beards. There are so many absences in the story of the flood. The greatest of them is Noah. From the moment God speaks to him until he leaves the ark and steps on dry land, he never says a word. And most importantly, he does not reply when God tells him he's going to destroy all living creatures. What can we say? That was God's decision. Except for Noah and his family, 8 people in total. Noah expresses no shock or horror at the idea of the mass destruction of the earth and its inhabitants. As we know, Noah was not like the rest of the people. He was righteous. And God saw his heart, and he was righteous, so he saved not only him, but his whole family. Even though Ham was not of Noah's spiritual level. Now, because we know what Ham did. Now, Noah does not plead with God to think again, to give humans and animals another chance, even though we saw that, of course, when Abraham was talking with God concerning Sodom and Gomorrah. So, that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, said Abraham, in the prospect of the destruction of Sodom, and all the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Abraham, painfully obedient, dares to confront God, teach him a lesson in equity and justice. Noah says not a word. He receives the order to build the ark. But the rabbis have a field day with this. They can't forgive him for his silence at the destruction of what was to be coming. Perfect in his generations means simply that he was only just okay compared to the dreadfulness of the rest of his cohort. Finding grace in the eyes of God suggests that there is no intrinsic grace in Noah. God chose him almost as if he stuck a pin in a list. Noah is no hero, not chosen from his specialness. He walks beside God. So obviously he was righteous. This is what God saw. So he was chosen. So the text of the Bible is spare in both words and emotions, but it's a text that knows it will be read by us, and that its eloquent silences will beg questions that rabbis, writers, and readers, all being human, will dive into it in search of extrapolation, like children being told a bedtime story. Now, God tells Noah that men and women are to go in separately, and the male and female animals are also to be segregated. There will be none of that sort of thing while the ark floats back down to earth. They will be together only when they're on land. So it's quite sensible under the circumstances. There's Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives all together for a year on a yacht filled with overcapacity animals. The humans on another, and we can imagine all the dung on the floor. They had a lot of work to do, feeding and cleaning up. Now, it needs self-control to cope with such living accommodation without, sex in the mix. But however, we know that Ham had met with his wife and had relations, and she came out pregnant from the ark. So, in any case, Noah at least would not have time for any relations with his wife. Turns out, in a void in the narrative, that he did not get a wink of sleep from the moment he boarded the ark to the moment he left, because of his job to feed animals and had to learn the scheduled performances. Now, back on dry land, once the ark was settled, Noah made a sacrifice to God in gratitude for their survival. He seems to have learned some sensibility, not enough to make him enrage on behalf of the dead masses, though, but God had done some learning. He has realized that he's dealing with in mankind, thinks that without saying it to Noah, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I smite any more every living thing as I have done. Let's remember in Genesis 6, it was the Nephilim that also somehow caused great destruction to the humans, right? And that sort of made everything, what shall we say, hybrid flesh and hybrid spiritual outlooks. So we are not just worth the trouble, it'll just be the same over and over again. But he blesses Noah and gives him some rules. And now instead of Adam being simply in charge of the beasts, Noah is told that they will fear and dread him. The beasts will dread him, that is, as well as the vegetation given to Adam for sustenance. Noah can now eat meat of the animals. Something happened. Obviously, it was a very big earth change, because before that, there were no rainbows on earth, meaning that something happened to change the atmosphere and the intensity of the light, so that rainbows would be able to appear. So you can imagine how devastatingly different the earth was once Noah came onto the dry land. So Noah was now able to, instead of being a vegetarian as Adam was, he can now eat animals. Man was able to be an omnivore, let's put it that way. So meat eating arrived, suitable for the different diet that God gave them the approval to have. One other thing, man should not be killed as if he is, and if he is, he will be given his nature. The killer's blood must be shed too. So finally he makes a promise to put the rainbow in the sky as a covenant with man, to remind himself that he may never destroy the world again, by flood, that is. He does not mention that he has understood that men are incorrigible, but it's an educational experience for God as well as Noah, but perhaps he learned the opposite of empathy. He distanced himself, rather, though he still does need a reminder not to smite Earth's entirely smite-worthy inhabitants. Now, the thing about the Ham and seeing his father's nakedness. Now, the thing is, we lose a lot in translation from one language to the other. But a man's nakedness actually refers to the wife, the man's wife. Okay, the man's wife. When we see when it was written that Ham saw his father's nakedness, it means that he saw his father's wife, his mother, that is. And the curse, the very big curse after all of this destruction and catastrophe, only 8 people were left to populate the whole world, and for Noah to get angry enough to curse not Ham that did something bad, but Ham's child Canaan. Why would he curse a little baby? It's because when, as we saw in when we read concerning King David and what Absalom did with David's concubines, okay, Absalom did the same thing with King David's concubines. He knew his father's nakedness, meaning he violated all of King David's concubines. And he would do that, a man would do that in the Old Testament if he wanted to somehow prove that he would have the upper hand over the king. So this is also what Ham was ready to do the minute they landed on dry land. Have the upper hand over his father, Noah. And he did that by knowing, yes, you can imagine it was incest. Okay, but the thing is that Ham's wife was already pregnant with Canaan as they left the ark, because Ham had relations with his wife on the ark, even though he wasn't supposed to, but anyway, he did. And she came out pregnant, presumably with Canaan. So that is why Noah cursed Canaan, because Canaan would have been under some primal law, the new type of heir of the new area of the new land. So this is how evil Ham was. Okay, so Noah did not curse Ham; he cursed Ham's son Canaan. Anyway, this is I'm reading from you I read from the Holy Bible and also the Guardian. I'll leave the Real Meaning Noah's Bible event, the flood. Now Ham, who was the father of Canaan, walked to the tent, saw the nakedness of his father, meaning his mother, Noah's wife, and told his two brothers, which when they heard that, came Shem and Ham, walked backwards into the tent with a garment over their shoulders without looking behind them, covering Noah's nakedness. So they saw not their father's nakedness, meaning their mother. So why the gravity of Ham's punishment? It wasn't Ham that was punished, it was basically Ham and his offspring, Canaan. So this is from one of the things that I read concerning the we also read it with what happened to King David and Absalom, and how he violated all 1,000 concubines of his father for that same reason, okay? So that he could somehow break down the kingship of the king, saying, I've got you, you're not pure, you're defiled, and this all belongs to me now, type of thing, okay? So anyway, this event obviously is a very striking event, and the fact that Noah, I asked my priest concerning this, and I told him what I read in the messianic explanations of what happened, and he was, he was surprised. He understood that was taking place, especially when we have it going over twice, at least twice, in the Old Testament. This part here, and also the fact with King David and Absalom defiling King David's the nakedness of his concubines, at least. I don't know I can't remember about the wives, but because King David had many wives as well. So this was going on as a way to get back and ruin the kingships, the hegemony of whoever the leader was. Okay. So the meaning of Noah's story, very, very strange, that Noah, after this catastrophe, came out and a little while later cursed Canaan. So please leave your comments about this, and there's a lot of things that we can find out by reading the Bible as far as tradition and history is concerned. And I, for one, believe that, of course, the flood did take place. And we have this as a geological scarring on Earth. The scientists have come out saying, yes, it did take place. And it may have been some kind of an astronomical event as well, having caused all this. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.